Hi there, I'm Luke Ayres, and today we're going to learn the simplest possible way I can think of to take cool looking lifestyle product photos. You know, like the things you see on social media, Instagram, like food photos or products, and they look cool. They're in like some kind of environment that looks like some trendy person's house or something like that. Well, not everyone owns a house like that. I certainly don't. But what's the way that photographers pretty much always do take these sorts of photos, and how can you do it super cheap? Well, this is how you do it. So, first of all, think about your light, yeah? So, I've got the only light on in this space right now is this table lamp, okay? So, if you watch the other videos, you would know the difference between hard light and soft light, yeah? Let me just show you something. Okay, so let's just take a product. We have my little planty. His name is Planty, and he's my plant. He's not real, but one day maybe he will be. So he can be my little model here. Now, if you can, this is just an ordinary desk lamp, okay? With a white fluorescent bulb in it. So it gives it's actually an LED bulb. LED, yeah, that new stuff that's cool. And make sure you buy it which has a white light to it. Sometimes they'll be called warm white, which means it's more orangey, more yellowy. No, you want white, okay? Because then you get proper color light coming out of it. Good, so you got your table lamp. Now Planty's looking a bit like a rock star because the light is so harsh on his features, his leaves, and everything that's not real about him. But then the easy way to make this better looking is to turn a hard light source soft. Now I've already shown you this, hopefully you remember. You literally just get yourself a photo frame, go and buy a bunch, get them in different sizes, but bigger is usually better. And you take out everything in the middle of the frame. Then you get yourself some baking paper, parchment paper, grease-proof paper. That's the stuff you cook things on. And you strap it over the top of it. Okay, so you take out all the guts of it, you put the baking paper over the top, and you just get some tape and you tape it around the edges. And by the end of it, you get something that looks like this. Okay, it's an empty frame where I've taped the baking paper over the top of it. And then you see the difference of the light when I put this in front of it. Suddenly, little Planty, see, it's just softened all the light, okay? And the closer that is to the object, if we bring Planty closer, or we bring that, you'll see that if you watch the shadow here on the desk, the shadow is like terribly harsh. You put this in front of it, it makes it softer, but then the closer the object is to this light source, now that it's soft and big, the less, it just melts your shadow away. It makes it look better, basically. And you can have the light coming from 360 degrees of direction, whatever makes it look good, even above, if you can somehow mount it above like that, okay? But good, here's Planty and he looks better. But now the next thing, if I just, say I was just doing phone photography and I'm just like, oh, let's just whip out my phone, take a shot of Planty. Okay, cool, how can I make Planty look even better? Now, let me tell you something. The rule here is basically, okay, good. It's about the background, okay? Now, in earlier tutorials, I've always used a white background. White background. Okay, good. If you're shooting for eBay, Amazon, blah, 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 you need a white background, you watch those videos. But we're talking about Instagram here. We're talking about cool stuff, you know? Frankly, I'm a bit tired of white backgrounds and I want something that looks cool. And that's why everyone wears cool clothes, because they want to look cool. They don't want to look like the Matrix every day. Okay, you get my drift. Now, good. So all I've got here is my little cheap desk right here, and it's just made out of wood. That's not even real wood, just like Planty. Too bad, Planty. But good. What's the cheapest, easiest possible way we can make this look better without doing almost anything? Well, let's have a look. I actually, dumbly enough, I only recently discovered this, but I've been using it ever since because it's actually awesome. On the internet, you can search. I don't have links below because I don't sell stuff on this channel, except for my photography course, which you should check out. But you should go on, search for textured background paper. double-sided. It costs like $10 each, and you get something like this. Hey, it's a piece of marble. Not, it's a piece of paper. And it's double-sided with different textures on both sides. Now let's just put little Planty on this fella, and let's just see what he looks like now. So we lift this up, put Planty on his new background, and suddenly, wow, man, you just like got a new apartment or something. Because if I take my phone and I take like a top-down shot or a shot from the side, or say I wanted a background behind Planty, I just lift this up and shoot from this direction, and suddenly Planty's like, lives in a penthouse or something. But you don't know it because it's a piece of paper that looks like a piece of expensive marble. All right? And this is what you do. This especially works so good, in fact, for food photography. If you get plates and bowls and your food and you lay it out and you buy a big piece of this stuff and you lay it across and you take a top-down shot with soft light, man, like, it looks real. It looks real. Okay? Okay, so soft light, textured background. Okay? Now the only other thing you need to keep in mind here is there's a word called composition in photography. I talk about this more in my course. But composition basically means putting things together which match, which seem to go together so that they, when you look at the picture as a whole, it says something to you. And depending on what you want that to say, you will adjust what's in your picture. But the way that that it is effective and it actually works is that everything in the picture has to be similar, of the similar type of thing. So you just look at any movie, okay? You make a movie in the 80s. Everything's got to be 80s. Cars, people's dresses, clothes, the way they talk, all this kind of stuff. Otherwise, it doesn't communicate the idea of the 80s. Every sci-fi film has to have cool-looking metal ships or gadgets or stuff like that. It's the same thing with photos. Okay? So these days, look, textures might one day go out of fashion, and that's fine, whatever, but right now, textures is the fashion. So get yourself, now the reason I say this, by the way, is this particular marble texture, okay, it's a step up from just a wooden table like I had before here, but I don't know if it really matches Planty's hairdo today, so that's why you should buy a bunch of them, all right? And the good news is they're super cheap. So like, let's just say, okay, this other side's like a very grainy slate-looking thing. Pop Planty on here. It's an improvement, okay? Let's see if I bought many of these. So what else have we got? I think this one's my favorite. Well, there's this side, which is like a blue rusted color. I don't think so, Planty. But this side, this is my favorite. Look at that one. That is a great one. Just search online. Just say, hey, man, I want to look cool. So sell me something. Okay. Sure. Planty is more comfortable here. But you just basically, the way you know is you just look. Okay, what's the color? What's the texture? What's the materials of your product? Say it's not Planty. Sorry, Planty, go away. Say we've got a cool pair of sunglasses. Good. Now, what background would go best with these sunglasses? There's this one. Okay, that looks cool. I could set that up like that, take a shot like here. And because the light's soft and blah, 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 that might look cool. Say you got something else. Say you've got a variety of jewelry, for instance. Okay, good. So you've got your white color. Does white go well with this gray? Kind of does. But hey, maybe, what about my wood, my wooden one? Hey, oh, that goes even better. Look at that go together. You just like look at it. You just look at it and you say, oh, does that fit together? Does that not? That's how you tell, all right? And yeah, it gets a bit more complicated than that in terms of composition and putting things together like this. Again, my photography course talks about this. But in terms of this, it's just, you get a series of backgrounds. You have your good-looking light, which literally didn't cost you anything anyway, because you made it yourself, and you just place it, and you just say, I'm not sure that, but maybe this other color, did this one go better on this one? No, that's still terrible. What about my other product? That one's a bit better. That one sort of matches this. That's all you do. You just jingle jangle it and until it looks good. And you know how it will look good? Because you'll say, damn, that looks good. Or you should survey people and say, hey, what's the majority of people that like this one? What's the majority of people that like that one, okay? And hey, sometimes you don't even need a texture at all. Well, actually, even this wood, this desk, this might go well with some things too. You get it? So that's the simplicity of it. Apart from your light, which should be soft, which you build one of these things for, it's about textures, and you can cheat textures very easily because it's a photo. The only thing that matters is what the camera sees. Anything outside of it, you ever seen behind the scenes making of a film? You step back 1 foot from what the camera sees and there's like 50 guys around there and suddenly like, wait a second, I thought this dude was alone in the scene. That's the easiest way to not be afraid by a horror film, by the way. You just keep in mind that, hey, he might be alone in a basement, but there's literally cameraman, sound guy just a feet away, so he's a foot away, so he's going to be safe, don't worry. You get it? Anyway, I hope you've learned something from this. Try it out. Get yourself a bunch of textures, even just anything, man. Go down to an old place where they're just throwing away stuff, old pieces of wood, old pieces of whatever, you know. Ideally, you get the genuine article and not a paper version. If you can get a real piece of marble, an old building site, I don't know. And if you do if you do have a swanky place or a friend's place, go there, man. Use those textures, lay your products out, get a nice soft light, and voila. Voila. People will not know the difference if you do it good enough, so practice, and I hope this helps.